All right. So there's a dude over on X. His name's Kyle. I went to his YouTube page. That's apparently how you pronounce it. Here you go, man. He says, "Congratulations at Noob DE." Don't worry, Noob's probably gonna not respond because he's over on the Diddy network,
Feeling like his true and authentic self. All those terrible people, all those people with free speech and being able to say and talk about whatever they want.
Bro. How does a guy make one of the most controversial games of all time turn into a giant tampon? Right? Now, sure, I'm sure the guy's nice, I'm sure he's fine and all that sort of stuff. But objectively speaking, he's a tampon. Anyway, he says your DEI dog shit has irreversibly damaged your brand. But I'm sure it was worth it because girls are apparently weak and need protection from digital objectification in a simulation where polygons resemble them. What is a woman? I posed this question to someone recently and it was not able to be answered. Interesting, right? How these people get so... Their narratives are so important to them that they try and pin stuff on others that they are willing to defend fictional women, right? And we've seen this happen before, right? That's the reason why I have courted controversy, because I've said that the women in this game look like a bashed up crab, a bashed in biscuit tin, a bulldog eating porridge. I mean, we can keep going, right? And they do, right? Because what happened is that they wanted to go, the problem is when you start trying to create games, right, that are starting to resemble, real life to a degree, or become too much stuff based in, I don't know, like a realistic type of aesthetic, looking like real people, right? And don't worry, I know what you're going to say. I'm going to address that, right? Because I know you're going to say, look at 2D Mortal Kombat 1. Shut up, right? The problem with that is that when you design the character in a 3D space with that, then you've got to design everything else around it, right? Otherwise, if you make some really fantastical background, right, that looks like it's ripped out of a comic book or some fantastical superhero type thing, then the characters don't blend in with the background. They look completely alien, right? If anyone that's played Mugen games, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, where they'll have a background and then the character might be Homer Simpson, right? And the background might be like a Mortal Kombat background, like the Living Forest. And it looks funny, but if you're trying to make a cohesive product, it doesn't look very good, does it? Right? And so people go, well, what about the digitized graphics, right? And that's a fair point. But the funny part is, though, is that for whatever strange reason, right, it didn't seem to have this massively, because you're talking about actually digitize something, like actual film footage of a real person doing all of these real moves put into a video game with drawn or animated backgrounds, right? Going all the way back to the 90s. So they didn't even have the technology that they do now back then, right? How did it work, right? To be honest, I don't know. I just know it worked, right? Because all the chicks in it were very attractive, right? So there was that. It's like, I remember the first time seeing Katana, right? And I'm like, ooh, that was amazing, right? Sonya wasn't too bad. We always used to make jokes about Sonya's lopsided boob in MK1, in the original MK1, where she'd stand there in a wind pose and it looked like one was slightly bigger than the other. Might be true, but anyway, right? Hey, listen, I'm not hating, bro. I'm just saying, well, boobs are boobs. Anyway, right? So, so when I saw Katana, I'm like, yeah, that's the waifu material right there, And then of course we got Sonya in MK3 with Kerry Hoskins and whatnot. But the way they were able to digitize and then, put them into the game, obviously they didn't put them in there raw. They obviously touched up the graphics around them, made it look like it fit with the rest of the background. And for whatever strange reason, it was this perfect blend, right? And everything just looks great. Nothing looks like, it doesn't look like the characters don't fit with the background or vice versa. Everything just cohesively comes together. right? And because the women were very attractive in the game, right? Then that was also, you know, I guess a selling point. I mean, they always say sex sells, right? And it's just because, and it's not so much like that's a crude way, I guess, of saying it, but essentially it's just that we are born to look and observe and see beauty. This is just how we are, right? So in order for them to want to, like, could you like imagine, right? This is the crap that we got back then. It never would have solved, right? Every fighting game, at least back then, had these for its time. At best, it's attractive women, right? And of course, obviously, animation and drawings changed, and so things get better and better and better, right? But for back then, they were selling the sex. So you might look at what's that? She's like a Viking / Crusader type chick. What's her name? Is it Jane? Is it Jane? I think I can't remember. It's in World Heroes, right? Because that was the first one that popped in my head. I'm pretty sure it was in World Heroes, right? And you know, she's sexy, like, so she's got like the boots and like little panties and stuff like that. Maybe a fash, look like a bashed in biscuit tin, but you know, again, we're talking about when these games were made, right? But the rest of the character was like, you know, sexy. These characters here are covered from head to toe because apparently digital women need to be protected in case somehow the grape gene, apparently in all men, especially white men. You want to talk about places that have cultures that, you know, have a lot of... I can't go down that road anyway. I'm just saying that we don't have a culture of grape when it comes to white men, right? And that's the narrative that they've been pushing for years, which is the reason why they have been doing changes like this. If somebody told me that this was a whole bunch of troons, I'd be like, oh yeah. I mean, the most attractive one out of this whole lot is probably Sindel. Probably, right? And you know why people get really defensive about this? It's because, right? It's because of the simple fact that they go, well, these were modeled after real world female, you know, face models. So if you're attacking the in-game character, you must be attacking them, which is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard of. And anyone that does that is an absolute tard, right? Now, so this was a response into this, which was about a battle pass for the cost, and I'm going to cover this separately because there's a lot to unpack here, and the fact that Mortal Kombat 1 and NetherRealm and Warner Brothers are all ripping us off, right? But let's read some of the comments. This person says, you and others in the comment section must be some serious basement dwellers. Here we go. Wanting attractive women in video games make us basement dwellers, right? Of course. Absolutely. Yep. Anyway, objectifying women as if every female character is supposed to look like Halle Berry is downright disgusting and shows how low we've sunk as a society. The comments on this post. So, you notice how they don't complain that the men are designed for the women? You ever notice that? They never point out that the men are made to be attractive towards the women. Right? Every single character looks like they step out of a gym, except for that fat fuck. What's his name? Right, Bob out of Tekken, and Rasputin or something out of World Heroes and shit like that. Yeah, we had some fatties around for blokes, right? But ultimately, come on, man, like, you know, we're talking like, you know, we're talking as rare as a blue moon here, all right? He goes, my page must be a retoid magnet. People pay good money for engagement, and you're on your knees submitting it for free. You and other Suicide Squad game players have confused your thoughts with relevant. Thanks for the laugh. He's a man after my own heart, right? And this is the guy, he was showing his own post. He goes, playing the first few hours of Suicide Squad, and it's clear that the Gamergate Avengers idea of DEI is warped. They refuse to acknowledge their innate biases in AAA storytelling where games cater to a wider audience. To them, any game with a diverse cast is just DEI. That's not true at all. Right? Some of you folks, like I've said this before, some of us that grew up with the 80s and 90s watching TV shows and movies, They had a diverse cast. One of the biggest shows I watched when I was a kid was Different Strokes, right? And Webster, right? And they would predominantly, right? Their primary focus in those shows was centered around black folk, which was amazing. You know why? Because nobody gave a shit. Nobody was sitting there in the lounge room watching this show. I can't watch this. This is propaganda. This is nobody cared, because that's actually where we got to in a society. Nobody gave a shit, right? We literally judged you on the content of your character, right? Not the color of your skin. So, next-gen capabilities to make awful-looking games until one season Asian game, then understand the tone and intention. Also, the game itself isn't the same tone, so sad, but the best way is not supporting the IP. Playing older games from the same franchise gives way more fun. True, and this is exactly what I've been doing, bro. Playing the older MK games, playing them on Fightcade, it is a blessing from Jesus. I ain't gonna lie, Chief, they all look almost the same. True. Bro, look at them. They all look the same. They look sick, ill. They all look like they are 55 and squint like they need their glasses to read something in the distance. All the male characters look like frat boys and all the outfits look like cotton. MK11 was a masterpiece compared to this moral cuntbat. I played it for free and laughed my ass off and uninstalled it. I got it for $40 on the PS5 and never installed it. Sometimes I still don't think about it. My son sent me this post. This is an amazing post, right? I am doing right as a father when your own children, right? He's an adult now, by the way. Right? So don't go, oh my god, Fate's getting stuff sent to him by an 8-year-old. His son's being like, blah, blah. Bro's 19, right? Anyway, what in the deep fried troon is all this ugly crap? Self-inserts by an ugly game devs, I suppose. What happened to their faces? Everything woke turns to shit. Non-binary, correct? Right? Now here we go, right? I was waiting for this. So everyone is going to pretend like all these characters aren't mid-expression. Ask a friend to take a picture of you scowling to see how you look. You know what's interesting? Right? Because I know this guy thinks he won. He didn't win, right? These skins here, at least 3 of them are a direct response to the fact that people were tired of the fugly shit. This is what we got on base. This is base roster. This is what they sold us, right? This didn't come in later. These are the base designs for the character. This stuff down here didn't happen till later. Especially the Katana and the Melina skins there, right? And the Tenya one where she actually starts to look feminine, and I've said this before, right? Although that one on the far right still looks a little Lee May, right? And I do agree, I actually do agree with a take, I think it was Total MK that said it, that, you know, while like Ashra and Serena are demons, and they do have a demonic look, which I can kind of get behind, they are also succubus type characters, so they are meant to be like extremely sexy and like hard to resist. And if you saw some bitch walk out with little fucking horns and crap like that on her face, I mean, you'd have to be like 3 shades to the wind, maybe, to have a good old gander at it, but that's not going to happen, right? So, you know, this is a disingenuous post, right? Because this is a direct response here to the backlash, right? And the first skin that they brought out was Lee May's, which they don't show here, which is ironic enough, that make her look like some fucking 80s, like, henchman in a kung fu movie, right? It's supposed to be her, what is it, her Deadly Alliance skin, right? And it's just, they fucked it up. Same with Natara's. You notice how they're not showing Natara's skin here either? The other one that they brought out in the early days, right? Because they fucked that up too. And then there was a massive backlash from those designs. If you go, listen, we're going to give you this classic outfit, then I know it's a hard concept for you fucking people to understand in the development department, but you've got to give us the classic costume. Like 1-to-1. You don't modify it for the modern audience that doesn't buy your games anyway because they're spending all their money, right, on fucking tampons to shove up their booty hole because they think they're a woman, right? It's not happening. So yeah, they didn't put those two skins in there, did they? In the early days. No, this stuff here, especially the top three, were way later and a direct response to the backlash of them putting fugly shit in there and then also messing up the actual classic outfits as well, right? Holy fugly MK. I'm amazed at how such a diverse bunch all look the same. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? If you run all the colors together, what it ends up looking like? Shit, right? That's true. If you run all colors together, like all the paints, guess what? All ends up looking shit, all brown, right? It's not a fucking racial thing. I'm just saying, like, this is what happens when people try and they try and diversify stuff, right? So it's like somebody gets a tattoo to look different, right? And then every single other person around them gets tattoos. So now nobody looks different, right? Everyone's just doing the same thing as somebody else. You're not original anymore, right? I tell you what, I'm probably going to be the last person on this planet without a single tattoo or piercing. Guaranteed. Yeah, it's a shame I even bought it now and it's rotting in my library with only 7 hours played. Of MK11, I played 190 hours. It's just sad what they did to the game. Well, MK11 was the same. It's just that, like, I don't think people realized how bad it was. Right? Some of us could see it and other people, you know, it takes them a little bit to get to. I stayed in MK9, the one who saved Mortal Kombat. I mean, look at this shit, man. It's amazing, right? Mortal Kombat is so effing ugly and fucking lame. Me and my buddies returned to MK Trilogy based on the PS1 and it's way more fun than their new DEI stuff. Holy shit, they look awful. They played themselves and now they're losing more money. They had it right with MK9. Listen, I know some people have this whole thing with Melina. I mean, you know she's got a face like a bear trap. You know that, right? At some point, as a man, you're gonna be like, I wanna spit and polish. It's not happening with her. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening with her. Alright? I'm just making you aware. What's funny is that he said women shouldn't be fighting in heels. True, yeah. Because it's not realistic, so he made them ugly and they still fight with heels on. Holy shit, I thought you meant me there. I was like, whoa, what did I do? These designs are like Firewalk was asked to make a fighting game. Yeah. The game is boring, so boring. It's a mystery why this game is a part of the 2025 Evo. So boring. Oh, they probably paid for it. They probably paid for it. You know what? When is Evo? What is that, middle of the year? Is it middle of the year? Right, anyway. So what's going to happen is that, this is my theory, is that they aren't going to tell us that support has ended. There's going to be two things that are going to happen. Evo is going to announce new content, or they're going to let Evo happen, and then after that, they're going to come out and announce that it's all dead and over and done with. It can only go two ways, right? And I think the game is possibly not going to get any more content because this is absolutely tanking, right? And so I think they're going to stretch things out because, like I've said before, if they announce that the game is cancelled now, right, that there's no further support, they'd be in big trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if you could actually file a class action lawsuit against NetherRealm and Ed Boon, because he is on record stating that there is future content. If they come out and say otherwise, isn't that misleading, false advertising? Just a thought. Katana the princess whose beauty was known through the realms. Now then, what the hell is that on the picture though? Oh, that's a $10,000 tie job. She looks like a troon. The reason, like, you could go, oh, she looks attractive with a mask on. Yeah, with the mask on. That's no different than sticking a fucking paper bag on somebody's head, right? Absolutely insane. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.